It was just past 2 a.m. when Deputy Ethan Price flicked on his high beams and steered his patrol car back onto Route 74. The August night draped rural Georgia in a sticky haze, punctuated by the rhythmic hum of cicadas and the distant moan of a freight train drifting through the pines. Tonight was like any other. A broken taillight here, a drunk driver there. Small-town trouble, nothing he hadn't handled before. Ethan liked that about Franklin County. Its problems were predictable, containable. He was sipping tepid gas station coffee when a pair of headlights swerved into view in his rear mirror. They darted between lanes like a moth drawn to a porch bulb. "Here we go," he murmured, tossing the coffee into the footwell. He flipped on his siren and the Crown Vic's red-blue disco tore through the sleepy stretch of asphalt. The vehicle ahead, an older maroon Impala, hesitated before rolling onto the shoulder, tires crunching gravel. Ethan exhaled, hands steady. One more DUI, one more paperwork headache. He radioed dispatch. Unit 6-1, traffic stop on Route 74 near mile marker 22, Georgia plates, older Chevy Impala. Occupant unknown. Dispatch crackled back. "Copy that, 6-1. Proceed with caution." The caution was muscle memory now. Ethan popped open his door, palm resting lightly on the holster at his hip. He approached the Impala's driver's side, his flashlight beam dancing off smudged glass and a cracked side mirror. Through the window he saw a man, mid-30s, pale skin glistening with sweat despite the AC humming audibly. Hands glued at 10 and 2, eyes locked forward, refusing to meet Ethan's. Ethan rapped on the glass. The man flinched violently, then cracked the window just an inch. "Evening, sir. Deputy Price with Franklin County Sheriff's Office. You were drifting lanes back there. License and registration, please." A beat. Then, in a voice too calm to be calm, "Yes, officer." "Sorry, officer." The man's hands fumbled into the glove box, retrieving papers with the frantic grace of a guilty dog hiding bones. Ethan caught a tremor under the man's left eye, a tic that danced every few seconds. "You been drinking tonight, sir?" Ethan asked. The man's Adam's apple bobbed. "No, sir, just tired. Long drive." Ethan shone the flashlight over the back seat. Empty, but an odd smell pushed through the AC vent, coppery, pungent, like a butcher's apron left out too long. "You mind popping the trunk for me?" This time, the tick under the man's eye pulsed so hard it looked painful. Is there a problem, officer? I mean, I ain't got nothing back there. Just luggage." Ethan's instincts, honed over 7 dry years of routine, now thrummed like a live wire. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Sir, step out of the vehicle. Now." The man obeyed, sliding out with the stiffness of a scarecrow. He smelled of stale sweat and something else Ethan couldn't name. A wet, earthy stench that curdled the summer air. Hands on the hood, feet apart. The man complied, body trembling. Ethan patted him down. Keys, wallet, nothing else. He pocketed the keys, then motioned toward the trunk. "Stay right there." Ethan circled the Impala, flashlight beam fixed on the latch. He inhaled, braced himself, then clicked it open. The trunk lid creaked upwards, and the smell hit him like a fist to the gut. Inside, under a frayed blanket, was a mess of duct tape, rope, and red-soaked towels. And beneath that, a face. A young woman, barely breathing, eyes wide with primal terror, mouth gagged with filthy fabric. Her wrists were raw, bound so tightly they looked like they'd fused with the rope. For a moment, Ethan forgot to breathe. He slammed the trunk closed to block the sight, but her horror was etched behind his eyes now. He spun back to the driver. The man hadn't moved, but his lips were moving silently, like he was praying to someone who'd long since stopped listening. "You son of a bitch!" Ethan roared, slamming the man onto the hood. He cuffed him so fast he felt bone under skin. The man turned his head just enough to whisper, "It's not me. It's him. He made me. He's..." but Ethan cuffed his jaw shut. Backup arrived within minutes. Deputy Hall, young and green, nearly vomited when Ethan lifted the trunk again to show him. Within the hour, the woman, a college student named Natalie Harris, missing for 3 days, was in an ambulance drifting in and out of shocked consciousness. The man in cuffs just stared at the flashing lights, a half smile twitching at the corners of his cracked lips. By sunrise, the Impala sat behind yellow tape in a tow yard, its secrets cataloged and bagged by crime scene techs from 3 counties. Ethan found himself in an interrogation room at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, facing the suspect. His name was Benjamin Keller, no priors, a gig at a moving company, rented a month-to-month room at the seedy Night Owl Motel out by the old truck stop. Ethan sat across the metal table, tape recorder whirring softly. Keller wouldn't look at him. He just picked at the cuff ring, chafing his wrist. "You want to tell me what the hell you were doing with Natalie Harris in your trunk?" Ethan's voice cracked like a whip in the stale room. Keller let out a dry chuckle. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me." He said she needed to be moved. That's all I did. Moved her. Like furniture. "Who said?" Keller's head snapped up, eyes suddenly wild and glassy. "The man in room 12. He paid me. He told me where to find her, how to wrap her up. Said if I didn't do it, he'd put me in the trunk next." Ethan leaned back, absorbing the tremor in Keller's voice. Lies had a rhythm. This wasn't it. "Room 12 at the Night Owl?" Keller nodded frantically. "He's still there. He never leaves. He watches people through the walls." Ethan rose, leaving Keller to his muttering. He poked his head into the hall. "Get me a warrant for the Night Owl Motel? Now." By 10 a.m., Ethan, Hall, and 2 state troopers were in the cracked parking lot of the Night Owl. Room 12 was on the far end. Boarded windows, a door with paint flaking like old sunburn. Ethan knocked. No answer. "Breach it." One trooper rammed the door open. It swung inward with a shriek of rusted hinges. Inside was a shrine to filth, stained carpet, the moldy stench of damp towels, and a single mattress crawling with cigarette burns. But what froze Ethan's heart was what covered the walls. Photographs, hundreds of them, Polaroids taped edge to edge. Faces, cars, backyards, people unaware they'd ever been watched. In the center of the bed lay an ancient man, skin paper thin and yellow as parchment. Tubes snaked into his nose, connected to a hissing oxygen tank. His eyes flickered open. Cloudy, bottomless pits that nonetheless fixed on Ethan with eerie clarity. "You shouldn't be here," the old man rasped. His voice was a dry breeze through dead leaves. Ethan stepped closer, avoiding the minefield of Polaroids littering the floor. "Who are you?" he demanded. The old man smiled, gums gray and toothless. "I see everything that comes and goes. I am the lock on every door in this town." Ethan's skin prickled. "Did you order Keller to kidnap that girl?" The old man coughed, a wet, rattling sound. "He was my hands. They were all my hands. I am everyone's nightmare they pray never knocks." And then, as if on cue, the old man's chest stilled. His eyes stayed open, glassy, lifeless. Deputy Hall stumbled back, nearly knocking over a floor lamp taped with more Polaroids. "Ethan, look." Behind the lamp, a hole drilled into the wall. Peering through, Ethan could see into the next room. A young couple, oblivious, packing bags to leave. He turned back to the old corpse, and the wall seemed to breathe around him, whispering secrets. Over the following days, the case unraveled like rotten cloth. Keller confessed to being a pawn. So did 2 others found later. A gas station clerk and a long-haul trucker, all funneling people to Room 12's orders. But who was Room 12? The motel owner claimed the old man, one Theodore Sloan, had lived there for 20 years. Paid cash. No ID, no family, no history. Inside the walls, hidden panels contained ledgers, meticulous notes of people's comings and goings, secrets traded for favors, blackmail letters. Theodore Sloan had run a private hell from a hole in the wall. Natalie Harris was just the latest victim, chosen at random because her father owed Sloan money. A gambling debt turned blood pact. The town reeled from the revelations. Ethan felt it deep in his bones. The place he'd trusted to be boring, safe, was built on decades of hidden horror. Weeks passed. Keller was sentenced. The motel bulldozed under court order. Families sued the county for blind eyes turned too long, but Ethan couldn't sleep. At night, he swore he heard tapping behind his walls, a clicking camera, a rasping breath. One evening, well after midnight, he sat in his kitchen nursing cold coffee when a faint sound drifted from the basement. Tap, tap, tap. He gripped his gun and descended the creaking stairs. The basement light flickered to life, and for a heartbeat he saw it. An old Polaroid pinned to the cinder block wall. A fresh one. His own face taken through his kitchen window. The ink still wet. Ethan turned, but the basement was empty. Only the shadows watched him, whispering like leaves in a storm.